Welcome to Legend Analysis 54, where we get to talk about the thod of Gunder, Thor. We'll cut pretty much to the chase with Thor. There's a lot to be talked about with him. Some good things and some bad things. And we'll get to each of those things in their respective categories. As for my personal opinion on Thor, I really like him, at least as of lately anyways. But he's never been a legend that's annoyed me. I might be alone on that because it seems like he annoys almost everybody for some reason. Mostly relating to the weapon combo probably, but you could also say his SIGs are really strong too. We'll take a look at them first before making assumptions. On to the hammer SIGs. Thor's hammer and SIG isn't anything to mess around with. It covers a nice area above you, which for upward dodgers can be great against, and also goes true with downlight. It's a very powerful SIG on Thor's hammer game, potentially the best, but there's some competition. Thor's hammer side SIG, while it isn't the most memorable SIG he has on hammer, it's still very good for what it does, and shouldn't be underestimated. It goes a nice distance and can catch enemies who like staying on the ground a lot. It also has a nice amount of force, more noticeable than the other hammer SIGs in my eyes. Just to me though, I'm likely wrong. Again, not the best SIG, but it has great uses. Hammer Down Sync. This SIG is really good on Thor and ties against in-SIG for first. It covers a really wide area and once again punishes upward dodges. Although with this SIG, the punishment to it comes with not hitting grounded at all and leaves you pretty vulnerable. Against experienced players, they'll know to expect Hammer Down SIG and just go straight under you. Similarly to Sidra's Cannon in-SIG. Regardless, it's still extremely powerful and it adds a lot to this character. Thor's Orb in-SIG is really great at traveling distance and even juking opponents when coming back to stage. It has pretty good power as well. The only downside I can see it holding is making you vulnerable. I wouldn't use it too predictably in that case, but otherwise it's a great SIG. You can also stall time in the air pretty well with it. Reminds me of another specific legend who can do that. Going on to side SIG, I've got to say this one feels the weakest to me. I wouldn't say it's bad, not at all in fact. I just don't see myself using it all that much. It's pretty rare. Although similarly to his other SIGs, it still hits hard, just not a lot to say about it. Maybe the Thor mains will teach me their ways. Lastly, we have Orb Down Sync. This SIG is just insane. Arguably Thor's best SIG overall for the way it acts. You do a charge shot upwards, immediately downwards, and hit whoever is on the ground around you. It hits in the air too, which I can see being useful, I just don't recall it ever being the reason you hit the SIG in the first place. Regardless, the reason this SIG is so good is because you go airborne and then back grounded. If you're fighting Lance, Gritsword, any weapons that excel in grounded gameplay in so many different ways, you can go above their attacks, then downwards to stop them in their tracks. I think I'm over-exaggerating it a bit, but this SIG really can be nuts if you use it correctly. Offstage it's fun too, but that's just me. Overall, both of Thor's weapons excel greatly in so many different categories. You can argue which one is better via weapon strength itself, or signature kits, but I think they're pretty similar. Going on to skins, Thor is alright skins. I wouldn't say they're the best in the game, but they get the job done. So let's get to it. God tier has Thor by the Shore and M. Bison. Come on, you already know me. I'm a sucker for casual skins in any game. This skin is easily S tier. As for M. Bison, I think this was a Street Fighter skin done right. He looks threatening, menacing, intimidating, all of that special biz. M. Bison has amazing SIG effects and even comes with a free emote. Easily one of the better crossovers. Skipping straight to mid tier, we have... Okay, I know how to pronounce it. We aren't doing that again. We have Draugr, Cindergaard, and The Undertaker. As usual, the first two are very fitting for Thor, but really just aren't my style. Not a lot to say about them. And then The Undertaker is a pretty cool crossover as well, although he doesn't come with a free emote, so that's around 6,700 points deducted, leaving him in just mid-tier. Still a great crossover though. Med-tier, we only have Capra Thor. This one just doesn't strike as all that interesting to me, but it still stays unique. Then Get Out tier, we have Royal Warrior Thor. I mean, I don't know, I don't like the blonde hair and all the braids going on, the brown outfit and the scraggy hair. Does it fit the Jotun winter theme? Sure, but even then, all those skins look pretty bad as well. Overall decent skins, but most were mid-tier. Tier list wise, out of SA, B, C, and D, I'd have to place Thor in a high A tier or even low S tier. I think we're at that point where we can start talking about Thor in a competitive view. I'm not sure if I've really seen the true potential of Orb. I understand that the weapon isn't weak. In fact, if you know how to use the weapon, then it can be really strong, but I just don't see how it's broken. People think Thor is really broken with the SIG kit and weapon kit, especially Orb for some reason, and while I do think his SIGs are extraordinarily good, I just don't see it for the weapons. Hammer is sitting near balanced right now thanks to the nerfs it received, and Orb I've never seen as broken, as many times as I might state it. Even the Orb Legends themselves I've never seen broken. Dusk, Reno, Ezio, Fate, Petra. Okay, that last one's super broken, but that's for gauntlets. Back to Thor though, I think his stats really complement his whole vibe going on. 6 attack, 4 dex, 7 defense, and 5 speed. Arguably perfect stats. You can pretty much run any stance besides dex, as I see no point to it. Attack takes out of speed, speed takes out on dex, and defense takes out of attack. All very solid stances. And even though his play rate might be low, I don't think that should affect my opinions on him competitively. Just because he's low play rate doesn't mean that he's like C tier or something like that. Even though he's extremely underplayed, he's still a powerhouse. Not OP, but he's really strong. Similarly to Sentinel or Vector in that way, just not as low. Overall, I've got to say it for the last time, I don't think Thor is OP, despite everyone thinking he is. I think he does very well in some categories, but if we're talking about him from a casual view, he's very fun. Solid weapons, sig kits, skins, all of that. I've never seen him as a huge issue or as extremely annoying. I know some people do though, not everyone adores the Orb and Hammer. Even I don't. I just think he's neat. Regardless, that wraps up the Thor analysis. I actually do like playing him a lot, and making the analysis for him was pretty fun, especially playing him. He feels so clean to use. Of course, if you think I'm dumb, stupid, and wrong, comment down below and I'll likely not agree, or something along those lines, I don't know. Feel free to subscribe too, it always helps me out in several ways, and if you're getting some content out of it, then I just see that as a win. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep on brawling.